We are live and shit, and it is Friday. For people that are tuning in from yesterday's show, I have to explain something. This right here was a joke. You don't need to email me about picking on Pat K. She is my Yoda. You do not need to contact me and ask if Pat has osteoporosis. This is not Pat, okay? It's a picture of Yoda from Star Wars. I thought I explained it yesterday, okay? We don't need to be worrying about Pat's bones and chin hair, you fucking idiots. So, how is it going? It is Friday, and we got a lot of stuff going on today. Woo! Hold on. Look at Poppy. Poppy said, "I'm sorry I missed yesterday. I had to do the nasty." Oh, and then you put in parentheses, work. I thought you took off all day yesterday to get your groove on. I was a little jealous at the time, but you had to work. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, OJ, get over there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. That's enough. Yeah, jump over there. Knock something off. You'll be all right. Woo! So, we put in Discord last week. I put on the members tab. Put it in our Facebook group. Crystal Sorey was awarded $2,250,000. Our good friend Susan, it's another one of those shows where I have to say, check on Susan because she's not going to be okay. Now, a lot of that will go to her attorneys. Matter of fact, check on Susan because she's not going to be okay. I don't want to hear my own voice. I don't know how you all do it. I damn sure don't want to hear it. Damn, turn that off. Damn cat walking around here stepping on my shit. Damn. Yes, internet hugs for Susan. Internet hugs for Susan. So what was I saying before OJ stepped on my phone? Good morning, Britt. Okay. $2,250,000 goes to Crystal Sorey. The check will go through her attorney who worked on a contingency. We've been doing the math. I'm not a good mathematician. I figured that the attorney would get $900,000, but his whole firm gets a cool $700,000. Now she will have to pay taxes on it, which is probably going to be about $250,000. Part of it, and I cannot figure out this math, goes to her children. So there's a trust for her children. Now, where do you think the rest of it's going to go? You all think about that while we tell everyone good morning and remind our friend Pat to drink her milk, pluck her chin, and take her bone vitamins. Good morning, good morning. Without further ado, let's bring up one of my best friends in the whole world. Best friend to you guys, too. Our amazing friend, Susan. Good morning, Susan. How are you?
Good morning. I'm better now. Last week I was a bit hot, but I've come to adjust.
I about shit the bed when that popped up on my notification, and I called you because I was hoping that you didn't see it first, but you were already over your mat on.
Oh yeah. I had me a few drinks and I was pretty inebriated. I was numb to the world.
I'm telling you. So have you ever seen Yoda drunk before?
I have not. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but that's the thing. That is
No,
Star Wars, right?
yeah, just
Okay.
popped into my head. You said you had a few drinks, and I'm like, I wonder if Yoda gets drunk. What do you think about people that?
No,
Yeah, what do you think about the people that are concerned about the picture of Pat I put up? I was
that's just funny. That's just funny.
accused of doxing her, wanting to know if she has osteoporosis.
I think they were pulling your chain. I hope so, anyway.
And I had all day for it. It was cracking me up. Let's get to the comments from the last show we did about Harmony. Now, this would be the show where Crystal Sorey had put herself, nominated herself, because nobody else would do it, into a Supermom contest. Y'all had a lot to Jenny Shaved Peaches said the sound is really bad. Okay, I'm
Yeah, I'm hoping that I took care of that. I'm not touching my device.
Well,
I think that was on me.
Shaved Peaches can work her own damn sound out. I said,
Yeah.
sorry about that and your peaches. Okay. So we have right here, Crystal lied. This is from Empowering Women. Love the name. Crystal lied on national television and said that she missed Harmony's court hearing to attend Jameson's adoption hearing. That is a lie. We know it's a lie because Blair and Jonathan, who are the adoptive fathers of Jameson, said, nah, none of that happened. She didn't even need to be there. The state had already done the work. It was basically a ceremony.
But she wanted the kudos. She wanted all the good props. Oh, you're so unselfish.
Mm-hmm. But Empowering Women is right. She said that's a lie. She had an emergency hearing for Jameson because she abandoned him while high on drugs. She does have custody of her third child. Crystal did not object to Adam getting custody, and it will come to light. Shame on Crystal Sorey. She is exactly right, and it has come to light. It was more apparent to people on this channel as opposed to some other YouTubers that wanted to kiss her ass.
Yeah. Yeah. It just makes me so angry.
It makes me angry too. And here she's patting herself on the back like she's Supermom.
Oh yeah.
And I'm already seeing some comments. I'm going to cross cases here for just a second.
Go ahead.
It hit the internet that Josie Wells, who was Dawn and Candace's oldest son that they have together, is up for adoption.
God love him.
Dawn and Candace are tooling around Virginia acting like they've done something great for that kid.
They've done nothing for that kid.
Nothing.
Probably the reason he can't be adopted. Damage that child has suffered.
It's horrible. So then here we go. I mean, Dawn and Candace act like they've done something so selfless. Crystal acts like she's just done everything great.
Yeah.
Then we get to this comment. From the Roots Up Mama said, you call this a safe place to chat, but you're making videos about a mother whose daughter was murdered. You should be ashamed of yourself. Get a life. Lives are free. Okay, I'm going to say this right now to the Uproots
Tell
Mama.
it to Harmony, you stupid cunt. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Woo, we got to throw down. We got to throw down, Uproots Mama. We got to throw down. Did you hear that? My friend Susan just called you the big O. See you next Tuesday. I'm telling you right now, get a life. They are free. Lives are not free. You know who knows?
Harmony's life sure wasn't free. How dared you?
Tell it to Crystal Sorey, who just got over $2 million for serving her daughter up to a murderer.
Children aren't expendable.
And you want to talk to me that way? You, my friend, are the idiot of the week. And Uproots Mama, to claim your t-shirt, send an email to cll72020@gmail.com. Put your address in there and let me know your size. I'm assuming you're about a 5X. I don't have those in stock right now. I can find them at the local Goodwill. I will refer the email to customer service, and then we will get you a shipping and tracking number. All right, so Susan, what was your first reaction when you found out that old Crystal settled her wrongful death lawsuit?
I was furious. I was dumbfounded. I was heartbroken. I was upset.
Mhm.
I'd lost my mind, honestly.
I did too. I started yelling at my husband for no reason, but he's used to that. It goes in one ear and out the other. And I said, I got to call Susan. I got to call Susan. All right, let's get to it, my friends.
Well, Jen, Crystal Sorey says her daughter Harmony's death was preventable, and she accused DCYF and the state of failing to respond to reports of abuse that were made months before authorities say Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, killed her. Now, the full settlement amount here is $2,250,000.
I'm not even upset about the figure. I'm upset about the miscarriage of justice for Harmony, the murder, especially of Harmony, and the lies that were brought out in the governor's report that Crystal spent all this time trying to find Harmony.
Yeah, all of that. And I'm wondering if she ever did give somebody the Easter basket. It would have costed her nothing to do a well check. Just all of it. It just irritates me so bad. Her sister telling the news crews that she'd seen them, or somebody had seen Harmony at the dollar store picking out costumes. Why? Why would you do that?
Every one of them. Well, Adam has profited in a different way. You know, he's got free room and board for the rest of his life. And every now and then, for shits and giggles, he gets to play a game with the other inmates. It's called Find the Plunger. It's called Find the Plunger Handle and Eat My Shit.
Yeah. Bobbing for apples. Good for him.
Yeah.
Didn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yep, exactly. Eileen, I love this comment, said someone needs to sue Crystal now. Well, I tell you what, if I was the state of Massachusetts, I would countersue her for the fact that they had to spend a ton of money to pay people to raise her children.
Yeah.
Food stamps, Medicaid, corrective lenses, you name it. And pay for the hearing that she didn't show up to for Adam to get custody of his daughter. I'd sue her ass too.
Absolutely.
And just
unfortunately,
just imagine what she's going to spend it on.
Yeah, I don't want to. You said she still has custody of her baby?
That's what I read. Yep. And she wants to see the Eiffel Tower.
Oh. Flippin' joking me. Please tell me you're joking me.
Nope. Not at all. No, not at all. No. If I was friends with Pat on Facebook, I would tag her in the comment and tell Crystal I know a tour guide for her, because Pat's seen everything around.
I need
News 9 has learned that after the attorney fees are paid, 50% of what's left of the agreed payout will go to Crystal Sorey, and the other half of that money will go to a third-party trust for all 4 of Harmony's siblings. Sorey lost custody of Harmony years ago, but last March, a judge granted her request to have the little girl declared legally dead.
Okay, all 4 of Harmony's siblings. Okay.
3 of Adams and Jameson. No, that's 5, isn't it?
Nope, because, well, hold on.
They have 3 with Adam, didn't they?
Adam has 3 and she has 1. Why is
Oh,
Jameson?
okay. One of them wasn't Crystal's, or was no? That's not right. There
Okay,
should be
Adam
pathways.
and Kayla have 3. Okay,
Uh-huh.
grandmother that's raising them, she will get some money from that.
Right.
Okay,
But
and then Crystal has 1 that she's had with
yeah.
another guy.
And then
Jameson,
Jameson. That's
but
5.
Jameson is not a party to the suit. You know why?
Oh,
Because
they probably don't want nothing to do with her.
they probably don't want anything to do with her, and also they have legally adopted Jameson.
Yeah.
He's not in foster care. See,
Yeah. Okay.
Kayla's mom never adopted the kids. She's still
Yeah.
considered a guardian. Hey,
Right.
I'm not buying it. She just gave you a compliment. She said, I'm sharing the sun from my beautiful UK garden. Susan, your choice of words describe that evil are the best. I agree.
I'm sorry. I really, that just came out.
Oh, baby, you're fine. You are fine. Okay, so 700,000 goes to the attorneys. The only accountant I know is Pat Kay. She's going to have to do the math. So
Yeah.
700,000. And she'll basically what they're saying after taxes and everything, she gets half of 2
Right.
million.
After the attorney fees.
Yeah. Okay.
Sori lost custody of Harmony years ago, but last March, a judge granted her request to have the little girl declared legally dead. Her father, Adam, was convicted of murdering her. When that order was granted, Sori said she wanted to hold the systems designed to protect Harmony accountable. Her remains have never been found.
The system that should have protected Harmony is her mom. Her mom and her dad.
Absolutely. Ugh.
I mean, I'm about ready for these damn parents that can't take care of their kids for, CPS to step in, do what they need to do, and then sue the parents back.
And garnish their wages. Thank you. Thank you.
I've had it with their asses.
Why should the public be made to pay for their shortcomings and they get to live high on the hog? No.
I know. I'm fired up, girl.
I did speak with a legal expert tonight about why the state likely didn't want to take Crystal to court.
It would really just open wide maybe what goes on behind the scenes of DCYF, and they probably did not want to risk that.
And we have reached out to Crystal Sori tonight, but her attorneys tell us that they won't be commenting any further about this. The same goes for the state of New Hampshire. Live in Manchester tonight, Imani Fleming, WMUR.
Been saying that.
Let's talk about that. They can't speak on it because they all had to sign an NDA. Go ahead.
That's for house money.
Mhm.
They don't have to admit wrongdoing. There goes your accountability and your transparency. Ain't nothing to see here. And the kids are the losers.
Yep. Nobody admits fault, Crystal, or
Nothing but hush.
nobody admits fault. She originally asked for $50 million. So to the lady that left the comment telling me to get a life, lives are free. Obviously, they're not to Crystal because she originally asked for $50 million. Now, imagine
it's not worth $50 million, but Crystal doesn't deserve nothing.
Well, let's talk about this. How rough was the discovery process on her that they went from 50 mil down to 2.2? They must have thrown a lot of shit in her face to settle for such a small amount, considering what they originally asked for.
Yeah, I can see that, but that's not what insurance doesn't do that. They just look at it and say, well, we'll just offer them the lowest point.
Oh, no, lawyers
They start high, they start low, and
Nope.
they try to meet together.
Nope, lawyers do it. Lawyers do it. years. They go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. They're gambling with insurance money. So for her attorney to take anything less of $50 million for the death of Harmony Montgomery tells me that maybe the system didn't fail her as bad as what Crystal was trying to imply.
It's possible. I'm not willing to give them a break, though.
Hell,
There's no cracks. That was the Grand Canyon she fell into.
she fell in a damn Grand Canyon and she came out of one too. That Grand Canyon she came out of is Crystal Sorry.
Yeah. I just got that.
Webs of Deceit said that money will not heal her heart and it will not help her stay clean. This
I hope she does stay clean. I hope she does, just for the child that she has.
Yeah,
It scares me. It really does.
That'd be a good start for her, to put her children before her habits. But the money will not heal her heart. Let's talk about that. Did her heart ever seem that broken?
No, unfortunately, no.
So let's look at this. This is how she decided to advocate for Harmony, who at the time was not presumed dead, still officially a missing person. Who, by the way, Harmony still is missing. It just seems to be next to never, ever impossible she'll be found.
Tonight we're hearing from the biological mother of Harmony Montgomery, the 5-year-old girl who police say was murdered by her father. Crystal Sorey has said very little publicly since her daughter's disappearance. Today, a vigil was held for Harmony in Manchester, New Hampshire, where loved ones shared hugs and memories of the little girl. And her mom explained why she dressed in a Minnie Mouse outfit for the occasion.
I figured after everything that's been happening that I would go for Halloween as her favorite character, and I'm her favorite person, so.
If you're her favorite person, how come she didn't even know who your ass was?
Yeah.
Her foster mother even testified to that Crystal missed her visits, did not try to reconnect with Harmony, and and didn't even recognize her own mother. That's the type of bond that they had. But according to Crystal, I'm her favorite person.
Yeah, I wish she could have stayed with the foster parents. I honestly,
They wanted to adopt her, and so did Blair and Jonathan.
Yeah, she was loved. Selfishness.
You know, and I'm not going to put down anything that these social workers do. I don't like the way it's set up.
No.
Can I tell you a story, Susan?
Okay, I'm here.
Okay. Back in the 90s, I'm aging myself. I worked at a restaurant, and this woman I was working with, her name's Barb. And anyway, she said, go by table 11, I believe it was, in the corner. And she said, look at that little boy. So I walked by acting like I was doing something. Well, he had a very, very, very sad look on his face. And well, he was very bruised up. Okay. So I go back and I talk to Barb. And I said, well, should we call the police? And she said, let's get Mike. That was our manager. And he's worthless as fuck, but he came through that day. So he walks by and he asks them how their meal was. Do they need anything? He asked, what's the little guy having? And the mom said to him, oh, he's not eating today until he learns to clean his room. And the dad, who's eating a well-done steak with a Pepsi and ketchup on it, goes, and when he learns to ride a bike. So Mike acting like it was no big deal, and he just walked back, called the police.
Good.
Well, that's how shit used to go down. Okay? Now,
Mike would have took him out back and whooped his ass. That's the way it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So that was back in like 1998. Now you call about something like that. They're like, well, I'll give you an 800 number and you have to call CPS. They're not investigators. They can't arrest people. They still have to have the police to remove a child.
Yeah. And they'll get out there next week, maybe. Maybe.
Mhm.
Oh.
Damn sick.
Outfit for the occasion.
I figured after everything that's been happening, that I would go for Halloween as her favorite character, and I'm her favorite person, so it seemed right.
Crystal Sorey reported her daughter missing last year, but police believe she was last seen in 2019. Last week, her father, Adam Montgomery, was charged in her murder.
Woo!
Nasty.
Good morning, Chrissy. Where's your friend Jeremiah?
I'm sorry. That's just mean.
He had a lot to say about Chrissy yesterday. Thank goodness customer service was all over it. I'll tell you what, it makes me so mad that and I'm her favorite person. And now she's getting all this money. Ruby said at True Crime Beat, I love your content. She does. She does a great job. The only reason I put that up there is I thought you were talking about me, and then I realized how you were talking about, but I was already in the middle of the comments, so I didn't want to look like an asshole. Okay. So that was a joke, by the way.
Yes, we know.
Okay. Now we get to this. This is what Harmony had to deal with.
Missing girl mystery in New Hampshire. We are getting an exclusive look inside the house where 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery lived before she vanished 2 years ago. It comes as criticism heats up for authorities, many questioning how state investigators did not see warning signs of abuse before this little girl disappeared. Correspondent Brian Anthony.
Okay, I have a question. Look at her little face. How come Crystal, the uncle, the other uncle, the aunt that swore that she was at Dollar General, all these people, why did they jump to alert when the news hit? Why weren't they looking for her before? Adam is not hard to find. Hell, the police found him in a Walmart parking lot.
And he has parents. Who of you who have grandchildren don't send them a Christmas card, don't send them birthday money, don't send them a present, and never see them? Who?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
I just don't. I don't understand it.
My parents were adamant. You know, after I had my first son, I could tell the shift in the universe. I suddenly was way over there, and number one was my son.
At least photo. Send me a photo.
Yep.
I want to see what they look like. I know people live across the country and they don't have the money to travel. But Facebook photos? Give me a break.
Technology to not know that your grandchild is alive.
And is staying on top of the story live for us from Manchester, New Hampshire. So Brian, tell us, have police made any progress today?
Nicole, unfortunately, still progress, no sign of little Harmony. But for the first time today, we are getting a look inside the house where Harmony once lived.
News Nation obtaining these photos from inside the last known house missing 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery lived in. They show the bedrooms, kitchen, and inside the refrigerator. And you can see extension cords running throughout the house, hooked up to a generator outside because neighbors say the power was cut off. This is the house where police say Harmony's dad, Adam Montgomery, abused the little girl, even causing a black eye.
you're doing extreme punishments to her. She all kinds of stuff like that the therapist had gotten out of her just by playing dolls in a dollhouse. Imagine. I was horrified. I was like, no. I told DCF, and that was that. Like months later, they hand over custody.
How is it possible she got to stay with him after all of that?
I don't understand. I still don't understand to this day.
Harmony's mom says she warned New Hampshire's Division of Children, Youth, and Families about the abuse, but was ignored.
Okay, right there I had to pause it, because the governor's report from Governor Sununu in New Hampshire claims that to be false. Matter of fact, they were trying to contact her, and she would not answer the phone or return their calls.
Exactly. Make it make sense. But lives are free, right?
Yeah, that's what that one lady said.
Mm. So pardon me if I get a little upset with people.
You have had a girlfriend.
Excuses for this fool.
I mean, the governor's report had days, times, everything of how many times they tried to get a hold of Crystal.
They also haven't responded to our emails or calls since last week. So we showed up to their offices today.
Hi, my name is Brian Upton. I'm a reporter with News Nation. We've been trying to get in touch with the department, the director, about the... Is he filming? He is filming, yes.
Okay, turn around, because I know this side of it's not public. And I will call somebody for you.
We waited, and a representative from the communications office arrived.
All right, Jake Leon, communications.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Brian. I'm from News Nation.
Yeah, you just called me like an hour ago.
Yeah.
That's cool. You didn't tell me you were on your way.
Well, we've been emailing, calling since last week. Is there concern here about the fact that she was missing for 2 years and no one...
I really am not able to get into that because it's due to confidentiality.
The department later sent us a statement saying the department is continually reviewing its processes to ensure the best possible outcomes for children and families. The Division for Children, Youth, and Families has conducted a preliminary internal review on this case, and as is the case whenever a critical incident involving a child occurs, a comprehensive quality assurance review is completed. The statement went on to say their primary focus is locating Harmony. Crystal's mom hopes that is everyone's focus right now.
Come forward and tell us something, because somebody knows something. It's a fact.
Crystal, somebody did know something.
Yeah.
And that somebody was Kayla, who, by the way, you were actually friendly with, Crystal. Why did you never, ever, ever ask Kayla where Harmony was? You're friends with all their friends, birds of a feather, dude. Why didn't you ever ask any of them? I'm not buying it said at Brooks. For a lot of grandparents, if they speak out, they risk never seeing the grandkids again. And I get that.
That's scary.
Some children are real big about holding the grandchildren over their parents' heads. But remember, a well-checked visit is anonymous.
It is.
And calling CPS, as worthless as they can be, you can keep it anonymous.
It's not a good place
and
to
Harmony's
do
dad
it.
remains behind bars on abuse charges. Her stepmother is also locked up on a welfare fraud charge. And we just learned today she will now be facing an additional theft charge and will be back in court on Thursday. Nicole?
And Brian, just really quickly, I know that you spoke with Harmony's biological mother. And so she told you she does believe Harmony is still alive.
Absolutely. She believes that 100%. She actually believes that Harmony's father sold her for drugs and is alive somewhere. And that's why it's so important that anyone who sees her picture and thinks they might recognize that little girl.
She is insane.
No, that's an awful thought.
It is an awful thought.
He might not be wrong. He left her with that guy at their house, and the uncle was going to take her with him, and he told him to leave her there. And that guy was a sex offender. So who's to say? God I hope not.
Nothing shocks me, but we do know that she wasn't sold for drugs. We know that Adam had a shit fit in the Burger King parking lot and killed Harmony, and she got carried around in an Under Armour bag. She was put in a cooler. She was put in an Econo Lodge fridge. She was put in a freezer and then dismembered in a bathtub. Where she is now, I don't know. What I don't like is the fact that Crystal knows that Adam would be capable of something like that. And that's what she says to News Daddy. I think he probably sold her for drugs. Oh, okay. So after Blair and Jonathan blow up your phone, send you letters, do everything they can to get a hold of you, then you get involved and then you say, he probably sold her for drugs. That's your daughter, Crystal.
Like she was breathing. She just said that. It's like, yeah, second nature. How can you say that?
I know.
I would have. I couldn't.
I can't imagine.
But
Hey,
unfortunately,
is it too loud to hear? My neighbors are mowing.
I don't hear it.
Okay, good. But now she's the victim. And I can't stand when people, I can't stand when the assholes become victims. There is a way to take care of things without making a big old damn mess.
You can advocate, but you take responsibility. I screwed up. And you don't sue to get money for yourself. You don't. You failed her.
And there is a lot going on with this lawsuit, and there's going to be another one filed in Massachusetts.
Oh, there is.
Even though people say it's insurance money, it's still taxpayer dollars.
Exactly.
Because
what happened to looking for Harmony? She was going to use this money to look for Harmony, but she's going to go to Paris? Please. I just want to smack her.
That was what was originally said. Her and that goofy uncle of Adam's were each raising money to go find Harmony.
Yeah.
However, they didn't look for her from 2019 until it hit the news in 2022. That's a lot of time wasted. Reminds me of damn Seth Rogers. He's always raising money to go find Sebastian, but he's not looking for Sebastian.
Are any of them
eating cheeseburgers and smoking cigarettes?
Poor Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
These people have
well,
to
Marissa, News 9
understand
has learned that after all of the attorney's fees are paid, 50% of what's left of the money will go to Crystal Story, while the other 50%, the other half, will go to a trust that's been set up for all 4 of Harmony's siblings. Now, Story has claimed the state's Division for Children, Youth, and Families was negligent and liable for her 5-year-old daughter's death because they put the 5-year-old in harm's way. She says Harmony's death was preventable and accused DCYF of failing to respond to reports of.
I'm glad that was in the language. Harmony's death was preventable. Why was it not prevented?
It absolutely was.
Why was it not prevented? Why was she not in that courtroom that day when she told that big old whopper, that big old lie that she had to be there for Jameson? Blair and Jonathan said that is not true. She wasn't there, wasn't required to be there, nothing. Basically, any hearing she ever had was not to get her kids back. It was always some kind of emergency hearing because she done fucked up.
Yeah.
So why was she not there the day that they were making their decision for Adam to get custody? I think we can all answer that question.
Yeah, I think we could.
of abuse that were made months before authorities say Harmony was killed by her father, Adam. Sori lost custody of Harmony years ago, but last March, a judge granted her request to have Harmony declared legally dead. When that order was granted, Sori told reporters that her priorities were finding her daughter's remains and holding the systems designed to protect Harmony accountable. I did speak with a legal expert tonight about why the state likely didn't want to take Crystal to court.
I was a little surprised. The amount itself isn't large. It's not huge. People are going to walk.
It's not large, really?
It's not large. It's not huge. I'm not saying for what she's going to be. Let me do some simple math here real quick. I do have a calculator that will tell everyone right now that my math teacher was wrong a long time ago. Okay. Minus 700. Okay. That leaves her with $1,302,000. Okay. Half of it gets put into a trust for her children.
No. First, she has to pay the taxes.
Okay.
And I think she got to pay taxes on all of it, so the kids aren't responsible.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in $2 million, okay? Because the taxes are going to be roughly $250,000, okay? Minus 700, 1, 2, 3. That's going to leave her with a significant amount of money, but she better be wise with it, because we don't even know if in Massachusetts they're going to even hear her case. But I'm telling you, in discovery, they beat her up because no lawyer, contingency or not, the contingency gets you more money based on the payday, is going to go from 50 mil down to a little over 2.
Walk away with the fact, even though there was no admission of guilt, people are still going to walk away with, obviously New Hampshire did something wrong or they wouldn't have paid this out.
And the Attorney General's office did send us a statement on this tonight. They say the state agreed to these settlements to avoid prolonged litigation and to support closure for the families. They say they recognize their profound loss and hope this brings some measure of peace. And Crystal Sori's attorneys tell us they won't be commenting any further on this. Harmony's remains have never been found.
Oh, they're not going to comment. They got stuff to do.
It's called cost effectiveness, and children should not be cost effective.
Jeremiah 1111 said there's no taxes on lawsuits. There is.
Federal taxes there are.
And in Massachusetts, it's going to be federal and state taxes.
Yes.
Fine by me. Just like if you win at Wheel of Fortune, guess what? The IRS is going to want their part. Just if you win at the casino, IRS is going to want their part. So this is exactly what Crystal, whether she knew it or not, was participating in.
We have big breaking news we want to share with you right now regarding the death of Harmony Montgomery. The arrest warrant and attached affidavit of probable cause has just been made public in the murder case against Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery. This has been under seal until right now. This just made public. I just got this in my hands. We are combing through this document right now here at Court TV.
Diana, thank you for the super sticker. Angel Lyons reminded me of a story I heard a long time ago. Probably not true, but it's a funny story. Angel said, or Price is Right. Remember that couple that won like the jet ski and the washer and dryer and shit? And they went and signed the IRS stuff and they went to their house and got all their shit?
No, I didn't hear that.
It was pretty funny. Yeah. The IRS was like, they want our part. Okay, Jeremiah explained it. He said, I never paid taxes on my settlement on a work injury, but I'm in Canada. Well, totally different. Work injuries are different than what we're doing here.
For these disgusting details about how that beautiful little girl was killed. Now, this document was released by order of the New Hampshire Superior Court judge. And according to Adam's wife, Kayla, Harmony was beaten to death in the family's car back in December of 2019. What's more, the family car is where little Harmony had to live. That's where the family was living at the time. And apparently Adam Montgomery, according to police and what they are saying here, he was upset that that 5-year-old child would have accidents in the car. And Adam would hit her.
Do you think the trauma that Harmony went through, I mean, being abandoned by her mother and her father, being separated from her brother, being beat to hell and back, would make her a little anxious to where she would wet her pants?
She was probably afraid to say anything to them.
Absolutely.
The fear of beaten. She's damned if she did, and she's damned if she didn't.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the probable cause affidavit, where Crystal's testimony is Adam said, I heard something.
Yeah.
I think I did something this time.
And what did they do? They went through the drive-through, got their food, and ate. She fed them babies, turning around and feeding her kids as Harmony lay dying under a blanket.
Damn sure
Moaning.
did. She
Moaning.
said after so many moans, they knew she was dead. And then Adam put her in the Under Armour bag. Now, don't forget.
You're going to sit there and eat.
Yeah, sitting there eating their sandwich and their tater rounds. And don't forget, Kayla went into the bathroom to change the baby's diapers, wash her face, because, you know, they're homeless. They live in the car.
Yep.
And got a text message from Adam saying he needed more ketchup. And she went and got it for him. But no one could use their phone to help Harmony.
Yeah. Of course they did. Nasty. But yeah, we're picking on people.
Well, that's what that Uproot's mama said. She said,
I'm still a little salty.
She said, get a life, they're free. I'm like, not according to Crystal Sorey, because I mean, Harmony's life was worth $50 million to her, and she settled for $2 million.
Yeah, I'm a little salty. I'm sorry.
So now you got Harmony on a clearance deal? You took off $48 million on her life?
Yeah.
Hit her in the face. And he hit her in the face multiple times with a closed fist on one occasion and never sought medical treatment. And then, after she died, he put her body in a duffel bag and kept it in the trunk of his car, according to investigators. And what's more, they moved around with Harmony's body, taking her everywhere they went, moving her to different spots in their next apartment, keeping that child's dead body. The unsealing of the document comes after Adam Montgomery was found guilty of all of the charges in his weapons case earlier this month. His defense team had successfully argued to seal the document after the conclusion of that trial. Adam Montgomery been charged with second-degree murder, the murder currently set for this November.
Okay, Virginia Wolf has a question. How on earth is mom free, let alone awarded money? I'm confused. Well, we have a whole playlist. Now,
he didn't have custody of Harmony. That's Kayla that was with him.
Kayla is the mom that witnessed the abuse and witnessed the murder of Harvey Montgomery, and also was aware that when they lived in the apartment on Union Street, that Harmony was being dismembered to the point that she had to call the maintenance guy to unplug the drain.
Yeah.
Again, they've got time for their phones, but not when it came to Harmony.
She protected her kids, though, didn't she? I have nothing for her.
As she should, but she should have protected Harmony as well. Just like when she was bragging about how her and Adam got married on Harmony's birthday because they're a gift to Harmony. I'm like, oh, so you're saying that those two getting married is a way for you all to not have to buy her a present. I got it.
We're going to be doing a deeper dive on these details with you throughout the day. I've been able to skim through some. And I have to tell you, during the commercial break, it really, I was holding back tears with this. I'm looking at page 8 of the document. I want to bring in my guest to help me dissect some of this. Trial attorney, former prosecuting attorney Vonda Sargent on the show today. Vonda, this is going to turn your stomach. Prepare yourself. Looking at page 8 here that I've read through, apparently he was in the habit of hitting the 5-year-old child when she would have an accident in the car. Now, there's no bathroom in the car. I don't know where that poor child was expected to go to the bathroom to relieve herself, being forced to live in a car. But apparently on December 7th of 2019, the vehicle broke down and Adam Montgomery hit Harmony in the face and in her head on 3 different occasions because she had a bathroom accident. Now, she was sitting in the rear passenger side. He was in the driver's seat, according to Kayla Montgomery, the wife, not Harmony's biological mother, but her stepmother. And apparently Adam would turn his whole body around, according to her. And at one point, he delivered sets of 3 and 4 blows with a closed fist to Harmony's face and head on separate occasions over a period of time of a few minutes. And after the final blow, Adam said words to the effect that he felt something or heard something when he hit Harmony. And he said, quote, "I think I really hurt her this time. I think I did something." And then poor little Harmony made a moaning noise. And this poor child moaned for roughly 5 minutes time and then stopped moaning. And at that point, it's very clear to me the child's dead. At no time did they get her medical attention, try to call 911, try to call an ambulance, nothing. They let her lay there. And then they stuffed her dead body in a duffel bag, Vonda, and put her in the trunk. Your reaction hearing these allegations?
Well, I think we all heard what happened in the car. It took us a few days to recuperate.
Yeah. It still hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that wasn't the first time?
No. And I tell you what, Adam still gets the news in jail. I have a feeling he is pretty pissed that Crystal's getting all that money.
Good.
Now, they had
That's the only right part about this.
That's the only thing. You know, Kayla's pissed that her mom's going to be living high on the hog with her kids.
Well, that's not saying she's not going to try and get custody back. Let her get control of that money. I hope she can't touch it.
If her mom is smart, she would know how to take care of that and keep Kayla.
Put it in a trust until they're of age.
Aggie has a question for the chat. She goes, "How's prison going for you, Adam?" Well, I saw an article in New Hampshire about how Adam had a hard time. When I say hard, I mean big black hard. Okay? Somebody wasn't paying attention up there in New Hampshire. Fine by me. We all have hard days at work. I'm not judging. And after a bunch of big old black dudes took a shit in his toilet, they bent him over. And he was in the infirmary for a little while.
Then had a date with a plunger, huh?
He got the plunger. He knows what that is. Well, they got confused. You know, they've been on the inside for a long time, Susan. They don't know the difference between Adam's, bunghole and the toilet. They were just all confused. They didn't know what to do. And so So after they got him to where he wasn't wearing maxi pads anymore, they sent him down to Virginia. And
Well,
so,
didn't somebody try to cut his teardrop off as well?
mm-hmm,
I believe so. Good.
he's not having a good time. He's not. Now, second-degree murder obviously was not the conviction and the charge we wanted. In New Hampshire, though, you cannot have a first-degree murder without the body.
Right.
And I think at that point, with Kayla's testimony and the biological forensic evidence they got out of the manhole, they knew it was going to be impossible to find Harmony.
Yeah.
Now, I have a big issue, though, with Crystal getting all that money, because the way that the authorities in New Hampshire stepped up, I think Crystal's part should pay them back.
I think so too.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. Thank you for the super sticker. She said, Brooks, I have to go. It's making me ill. Still grieving my boy. I can't cope with this evil.
I'm sorry, love.
From police about Adam Montgomery.
My first thought is I understand that we have to have the stepmother's testimony, but I also feel very deeply that she needs to be punished as well. It just is bone chilling that this grown man could beat this child to death with that other grown woman in the vehicle and she do nothing. So my first response is burn them both. They both need to go. This is absolutely horrific. And that he could say after he beat her that I think I heard her this time. So what were you doing, giving her rainbows and unicorn kisses the other times? It is just bone chilling. It is disgusting.
Look at those losers. And the first thing Crystal says, the first thing she says when she talks to investigators is, he probably sold Harmony for drugs, but I bet she's still alive.
Yeah.
That's your first assumption?
And that's so much better. Being tortured daily.
You had no communication with your daughter since Easter of 2019. And when Blair and Jonathan get on you and say, we want to get the kids together, Jameson misses Harmony. We want to have Christmas with you. We want to see her. Jameson wants to see her. Can you please find her? Obviously, you know Adam well enough to know where he's at, I would think. Y'all had a baby together. So can we please get these kids together?
Or at least point us in the right direction, you know?
That's exactly right. And so, next thing you know, we have a missing persons report. And, you know, I will say this about law enforcement in New Hampshire, in Manchester, New Hampshire. And I know a lot of people had a lot of things to say about them. We always do about government, public servants, whatever you want to call them. The way that they squeezed every little meth head, gun dealer, I mean, anybody Adam knew, I thought was...
It wasn't lack of trying, because they were looking.
I thought it was genius the way they shook him up. I'm telling you, I thought it was great. Then you see law enforcement like in, let's say, Portland, Oregon. You've had 2 grand juries. That's enough evidence right there to get a probable cause. Why are you screwing with the grand jury? You know what Terry Horman and Dee Dee did to Kyron Horman. But you're just going to sit there and just wait for him to wash up?
Yeah.
You have Lee Carlson in Washington. You know what those parents did. Yeah. Not only did they not report her being missing, They made up a story and said she was eaten by wolves. Then you have Michael Vaughn in Idaho. You've got DNA all over the place, and you've got 4 suspects, but the DA's not doing anything.
And a family being tortured.
Yep. But you can't say that about New Hampshire because, boy, I tell you what, they got right on it.
They did.
Disgusting.
I will not talk to them at
no
all.
words. I have absolutely no words for either of them. And it's my sincere hope she does not get some plea bargain. That means that she's not serving a significant amount of time because she's just as culpable, in my opinion.
You're right, Vonda. She needs to be punished for this as well because she has 2 hands. She could have picked up the phone and called 911 to get that child some help or rescued the child when she knew the child was sustaining beatings. I'm looking ahead, and this is really, really tough information to hear. If there are any children in the room, take them out of the room right now. After little Harmony was dead and they had her in the duffel bag, they would keep her in the trunk, but then they wound up going to different places to live. And they lived at a residence, Kayla's mother's residence, actually, for a while. And they apparently lived in an apartment building. And when they moved to this, I guess it was a transition shelter, it's called here in the affidavit, they put her up in the ceiling vent in the bedroom. They had the 5-year-old child's dead body up in the ceiling vent. Now, meanwhile, the whole nation is wondering, where is Harmony Montgomery? And she's up in the ceiling vent. And this is really gruesome. But Kayla Montgomery told police that there started to be a liquid leaking from the bag down out of the ceiling vent into the bedroom. And there was a strong odor. And what did Dad do? What did Adam do? Well, he put a trash bag around the duffel to keep it from leaking. And only until neighbors apparently complained about the smell, because they could smell the child's body decomposing, was there any action taken?
Well, we watched the trials, so we know action was taken.
Yeah.
However, the action that was taken was they just threw the bums out.
Yeah.
They just thought
there is a distinct odor. Well,
let's do the timeline from when Adam and Kayla's youngest child was born. They would have been in that shelter with Harmony in the ceiling as they're doing horizontal boogaloo underneath her, knocking Kayla up.
Well, he has needs. Come on now, Brooke.
Tell you what. Mm-hmm.
What he wants, he gets. Or you pay the consequences.
And everywhere he goes is nothing but chaos, damage, murder, illegal activities, drugs, you name it. And I will say this, Kayla, when she's cleaned up, is a very pretty woman. Crystal, when she was in her better days, really pretty girl. Kelsey Smalls, very pretty woman. There's really not any woman around him, including his own mama, that is heinous looking. So what exactly does he provide these women besides drugs? And I don't care who does drugs. I don't care if you're shoving them in your ears. I don't care. But the kids come first.
Yeah, that's true. That's the way it should be. But unfortunately, the drugs are more important to him.
I am sickened. I know you are too, Vonda. And this child, this is going to, blow your mind even more about this. And I want all of our viewers to pay close attention. So little Harmony was wanted, not by her biological dad, Adam Montgomery, but she was wanted by the adoptive parents of her biological brother, Jameson. Blair Miller is an outstanding journalist. He's also a personal friend of mine, and he and his husband, Jonathan, have adopted 3 boys. One of them is little Jameson Montgomery, Harmony's biological brother. And Blair and Jonathan wanted to adopt Harmony as well. And they couldn't. You know why? Because Adam Montgomery had asserted his parental rights and wouldn't give them up. And then look what he did to her, allegedly. Forced her to live in.
It's not alleged anymore because he is in jail for the murder of Harmony Montgomery. Shirley said Mom should not have been awarded anything because she lost all of her rights to Harmony and Jameson to the state. That's what I have been saying.
Absolutely.
If
I don't understand it.
If we're going to go the legal route and we want to pick apart the law, that is the law. That is the law. But somehow there was some kind of compromise made, but Jameson is not a part of it. Because you have to admit, you take $48 million off the table, obviously they found that Crystal in some way, shape, or form is also responsible.
A car, beat her, allegedly, multiple times on multiple occasions until he allegedly beat her to death. I think that might be what sickens me most, is that there was a family out there who wanted to take that little child and love her and give her a beautiful life that she deserves to have, just like her brother Jameson. Vonda, your reaction hearing that?
You know, I can't get past the beating. I understand that there was a family that wanted her, but I can't get past that this man would turn his entire body around, ball up his fist, and beat a child that he made. So I understand what you're saying about that. She did have a chance, but it is mind-boggling to me, and it is chilling, and it's stuff that nightmares are made of. I mean, look at that tiny little girl and her cute little glasses. How could you get angry at anybody that little? I mean, yes, she had accidents. Little kids in the best of circumstances have accidents, but that you didn't pull over or pull to the side of the road even and let her use the bathroom and then beat her because she engaged in a natural bodily function. I can't get past that. And the stepmother, they are both evil incarnate.
I love how she said that. Evil incarnate. Teresa said Crystal was the first to fail Harmony. She deserves nothing. That is for sure. Because Adam, who is an epic failure, for one, she chose to breed with him. Okay?
Yeah.
She chose to take that spooge. Okay? She chose it. He goes to jail, and instead of keeping the home fires burning and taking care of Harmony, what does she do? Hooks up with another loser and has a Jameson. And then there, the state steps in and says, you ain't fit. We're taking your kid.
God. But yeah, she deserves so much money because, lives matter.
The money does piss me off, and the gall that she has, and even her attorneys to take this up. But when you think about the big scale, nobody admits to any guilt.
Yeah, no accountability, none.
That tells me a lot. And the fact that it went from 50 million to 2.25, that tells me even more. Within their fact finding and their discovery, they knew that Crystal would never score the big payday she was looking for. Massachusetts could be different.
Crystal had a chance to make sure there was transparency and accountability. And she just signed in do not disclose.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I think people should be under the prison. This is just horrific that this has happened.
Under the prison. Amen, Vonda. Amen. and I tell me if you were like this, being in a prosecutor, and I did not handle child abuse cases, and I thank God that I didn't. I wouldn't have the stomach for it. I worked in a very large office, and we had specialized units for everything, and there were prosecutors who would routinely handle them. And I would say to them, like, God bless you for doing this work, because I think I would be in tears every day and just wouldn't be able to emotionally detach myself. I mean, it takes a real rotten, evil person to harm a child, a defenseless child who can't protect themselves. Vonda, your thoughts on that and child abuse in general? Because if I had to bet, I'd bet everything I own. This didn't happen in a vacuum. I bet that child was abused every day of her life by him.
Right. I'm like you. I refuse to cycle over into the juvenile portion of our office. It was difficult enough. I did domestic violence, and it was difficult enough doing with child victims. So, I mean, not victims, but child witnesses. So I just, I have a problem with the woman whose house they stayed in. I have a problem with the landlord of the apartment complex. That body was.
I agree with this woman. I have a problem with so many of these people.
Every adult besides the foster parents and Jameson's parents, every adult failed this child. You can't tell me that many people didn't see something. Well, it just kills me. It does.
Well, I tell you what, Shirley can sit with us, because she said the very first thing that you said when we started talking about Harmony back in 2022, and this is 2025. Shirley said, I question the judge that gave Adam custody. I will let Susan handle this.
I hope his boat sank. That man didn't do anything but want to clear his desk so he could go on vacation and leave. And he just pushed her through. Didn't listen to anybody.
Nope, nothing. And then we have another uncle that decided he wanted to step in to raise awareness for Harmony. Now, I'm not saying aunts and uncles are like peas and carrots with their nieces and nephews, especially great nieces and great nephews. But it's funny how they all just came out of the woodwork when it hit the news.
All right, I'm going to surprise you and say that I'm kind of changing my opinion on Kevin, if that's what we're talking about, Uncle Kevin, because he did report it.
Okay, go ahead and say that again. We're not talking about Kevin right now, another one, but I do want to hear your opinion on Kevin.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass because he did report it several times. It came out in the reports. So I'm going to give him kind of a pass. But who were you talking about?
This guy. Hang on.
The uncle of Harmony Montgomery opening up about her murder and the arrest of her father. He is now charged in the girl's death. And tonight, Harmony's uncle tells WBZ's Louisa Mueller that he hopes the tragedy will help to save other children.
You don't get to see this little...
Oh, I don't know him.
Timothy Flanagan. He said, you don't get to see this little girl grow up and see what she could have offered the world. Now, I'm not going to be harsh on him, because I think that he was a little flabbergasted when he found out this was going on in his own family.
Whose brother is that?
Crystal's, I believe.
No wonder I don't know anything about him.
Yeah. So, and I'm just wondering how many siblings of Kayla's, Adam's, and Crystal's are just done with them.
Yeah.
Like, really?
How did I miss them?
I've talked to you on the phone a million times. You never alluded. I personally don't like to get into people's business. Now, children and grandchildren are totally different. I'll get in someone's business real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to check on every cousin in my family, even yearly, Okay, they get a Christmas card. I'm not going to check on nieces and nephews all the time. It's a convo. How they doing? Oh, good. Okay. But now, if I have not heard one word about a grandchild, we got a different story.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to beat up on the aunts and uncles.
Louisa Mueller that he hopes the tragedy will help to save other children.
You don't get to see this little girl grow up and see what she could have offered the world.
Harmony Montgomery's uncle, angry at her father, Adam Montgomery, now accused of her murder and the system that didn't protect her.
Just disgust you that a judge could make that choice to send the baby to, the father who has just has a record, and not just a violent record. This wasn't that, you just picked up a shoplifting, he shot a guy in the face.
In 2019, Adam Montgomery was granted custody of Harmony by a judge in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and the 5-year-old left foster care in the Commonwealth, moving to New Hampshire. She disappeared that winter, and since then, the Office of the Child Advocate in Massachusetts released a scathing report saying there was no agreement between the child welfare agencies in Massachusetts and New Hampshire to ensure her proper care. So, has anything changed? A spokesperson for the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families says Massachusetts is working with the 5 New England states to develop a first-of-its-kind memorandum of understanding for children crossing state lines.
Okay, no offense to New England, but what if someone moves from, because we know the New England states, what if someone moves from New England to Atlanta, Georgia?
Yeah, where's the contact?
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to take care of that?
Yeah. I don't have all the answers, but something's got to give.
Just give us a day and people act damn right. Things would be different.
Mass lawmakers worked on legislation increasing DCF oversight, but none made it into law. And the Office of the Child Advocate continues to ask for a working group to explore putting the needs of children like Harmony first. Flanagan says all of this needs to happen with speed before another tragedy like Harmony's.
I think what justice looks like for Harmony is that, a ton of changes within the states, the way they transfer kids over to other states. I think the system needs to be really broken down.
Louisa Mueller, WBZ.
And the system, as they call it, the Child Protective Services system, is not federal. It's state by state. Like we have what's called Department of Human Services in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
New York has something called CPS. You have DCYSF. You have DFACS in Georgia. They don't communicate with each other. So if a child is being harmed, the first system needs to be the system that is shared between law enforcement.
And all the rules and programs aren't worth a crap unless you enforce them.
Exactly. And I'm glad a lot of these agencies are getting shut down. Because
they're not doing anything but taking money from the caseworkers so they can't hire new ones.
Yeah, what the hell are we doing paying all this in tax dollars for people that don't do their damn job? Somebody will do it. Crazy asses.
The same thing with teachers. I'm sorry. It's all administration. And there's no teachers getting any raises if they're getting taxes on every year increases so the teachers have enough money and they don't give it to them.
Absolutely crazy.
They'll build a football field.
Corey Mikulo's grandma is in here. She said, good morning. We were just talking about her. Her ears must be burning the other day when we said, hold on, Crystal Sorey has gotten all this money from her lawsuit. All of this money. And she's also getting from Massachusetts. How come New Jersey hasn't paid Bree for what happened to Bree?
She deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that.
I mean, Crystal, who is a deadbeat and a half, sues for $50 million, walks out with 2 and some change. And we have the family of Corey Mikolo. We've heard the trial. We've heard everything. We know that he was definitely failed and murdered by his father.
And they can't even get an apology.
Nope.
That's ridiculous.
Parents of Harmony.
Now, these are Jameson's real parents. Okay. And so they're not going to put minor children's names in the newspaper. But the way I'm doing the math, it's Crystal's child she has custody with and Kayla and Adam's other 3. I don't know who wormed into that unless it was Kayla's mother saying, hey, all this money. And let's face it, Adam and Kayla's children will have a lot to stumble over as they grow up and get on the internet. They're going to
know everything. And it's not their fault.
It's not their fault. They're going to know that they were sitting in a stroller with Harmony packed in behind them.
Yeah.
They're going to know when they were at the shelter, Harmony was up in the ceiling. They're going to know all of that.
They're going to know that she was in their house in the closet in a tote.
They're going to know.
And in their bathtub that they bathed in. And while they ate breakfast, she was murdered.
So I don't have a problem with the children getting anything. I really don't. Because like some people say, it's just insurance money, but it's really not. I mean, the taxpayers pay it. So if I was a taxpayer in New Hampshire, I wouldn't have an issue with the children getting it. Rebecca said depositions are soon in Bree's lawsuit against the state of New Jersey, DCP&P, and individual social workers. Holy hell, that is.
Rebecca, Godspeed.
Montgomery's sister,
brother
that is Jameson.
Yep.
Let's listen.
The reality is that Adam Montgomery will stay in prison till at least being 118 years old. And that works. That's where he belongs. And so we're thankful to the judge. We're thankful to the Attorney General's office, and thankful to everyone who's been very supportive to us this week on behalf of our son, Jameson.
Today, we looked evil in the eye. We saw the person that took our son's sister away. Today, this ends in the courtroom, and we're glad that monster is put away forever. But today doesn't end for her son. He's still going to ask, what happened to my sister? Where is she at? Why did someone hurt her? And those are going to be really tough questions that we have to ask, that we have to answer. We want to thank this community. Harmony became everyone's daughter, everyone's sister. And without the support of all of you, this community, the police, this justice system, justice would not have been served today. But it was. And this is not a celebration for us.
We have met so many fantastic people over the years. Rebecca just came into chat. And remember when we would cover the protests outside of the CPS building. And, people that reached out to us about Harmony. And they were, even though nobody else was, but they brought Harmony in as their own. And they had signs and posters and flyers. And I think we sent them pizza one day because they were standing outside wanting answers.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
And
it's taken long to get any kind of closure. And I don't even know that that's the right word. I don't know that there'll ever be closure. That was so evil.
I think Jonathan and Blair need the closure more than Crystal.
Yeah.
They seem to be more deeply impacted by what happened to Harmony than Crystal. And we damn sure
Because they're dealing with the fallout with Jameson.
Right. Thank you.
They got to put him first. And, you know, Crystal, she's going to put Crystal first.
Shirley said, where is Kayla's kids at now? With Kayla's mother. And Kayla's mother will not allow Kayla to see them. No.
I hope so. I mean,
at all. Because she got drugged through the ringer too. I can't tell you how many shows we did talking about Kayla's mother. But I will say this about her. She obviously wasn't prime time ready, but what she did was gave facts, figures, times, dates, calendar, real evidence. And that changed the whole timeline. Because after that interview with Kayla's mother came out, the whole timeline changed. And I think it really helped them narrow down how to get a hold of Kayla and talk to her.
Yeah, she enabled Kayla, but as far as having something to do with Harmony,
no.
Just like Kevin, I'm going to have to revise my opinion.
We can do that. Is it okay if we're wrong? And we say, hang on, is that not called accountability?
It is.
Chris
so anyway.
ACS has Josie Wells up for adoption allegedly. Did you see that? My heart breaks for those boys. Not to jump subjects. We were talking about that earlier in the show. We're going to do a show about Josie on Tuesday. I just need everyone to be super supportive. And remember, we're going to have people going, you can't be talking about him. He's just a little boy. Listen, I'm not going to be talking about him per se, but the failures of his family.
Yeah. And gosh knows there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But we can tell Jameson that the monster was put away forever today. And we can never replace his sister. But we can tell him that he can't hurt anyone else.
I know that we've long talked about this case, but the reality is, unfortunately, if there was another Harmony Montgomery today, another Harmony Montgomery could still happen. We certainly all this needed to happen, but we also need to look at what's happening when it comes to child welfare and to make sure this does not happen again, whether it's the state of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, or any state in this country. And that has always been something that we are committed to on behalf of our son, but also on behalf of Harmony. So that's what we look forward to next is change happening. But we certainly are pleased with what happened here today.
So you're advocating for in Massachusetts for this Harmony Commission.
Now they want the Harmony Commission done in Massachusetts, not New Hampshire. And I don't know Blair. I don't know Jonathan. I just wonder how pissed they were when they found out that grifter, Crystal Meth, received all that money, even though it's not even close to what she asked for.
Well, you know that they had to know this was coming, They're not stupid men. I mean, if I could see it was coming, no, I'm sure they did. And plus that, she used their son for Mother of the Year.
Uh-huh.
You know her.
She wanted to be, Super Mom of the Year.
That's what it was.
And she claimed to be Jameson's mother. And that's when Blair came out and said, you are not his mother.
She's nasty. That's what she is, a grifter, and she's nasty.
Uh-huh. Now, if she said, listen, I want to shake up the system and I don't want a dime. I'm going to take care of my children. I'm going to start a foundation for Harmony. And we are going to partner with National Missing and Exploited Children. And what we're going to do is when a child goes missing, instantly we'll have an office here that we have flyers, billboards, you name it. But the fact that she wants to go see the Eiffel Tower really pisses me off.
Yeah, absolutely. I could almost get behind her if that's what she chose to do. But the fact that she said, "Oh, I'm going looking for Harmony," but she wants to go on a vacation? Really? No, 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 no.
She always thinks she deserves something. She's always the damn
She
victim.
deserves something. A
No
kick in the ass.
No accountability. A show we did a few weeks ago with Dr. Booten about Sarah Ann Wood, about how the family raised a bunch of money to search, help the police, whatever. Then they partnered with National Missing and Exploited Children and started an office right there in Utica, New York. So if a child goes missing, there are volunteers right there, Johnny on the spot, to start printing out flyers, handing them out, hitting the airwaves, whatever needs to be done. Now, you would think that's how you would, honor your child.
Yeah.
The
That's
Eiffel Tower?
Yeah. No.
I don't know if you've been given an update. Are you pleased or not pleased with the pace of moving that forward?
Absolutely not, because what's changed to stop another Harmony Montgomery today? This is so much about Harmony and Jameson, but this is also about so many of the most other vulnerable children, and they're all of our responsibility that we have to protect them. This was preventable. That she was beat in a car. When we all heard all the crimes that he had committed way before he got custody of Harmony, I looked at my husband and I said, how did he leave? How did Harmony leave such a loving home and her foster family? How was she not kept with her brother and living with us today? How are they ripped apart? And that has to change because it could save.
What really gets me about Jonathan and Blair, for one, they're sharp looking dudes and they're handsome. Okay. Single ladies, we know when we hate them, we hate how good they look better than us. And, they joined their own team. It's like, what?
I don't care about any of that. As long as they're good people and they're good to them kids, I don't care. Love who you love.
I'm talking about the women of the world that are looking for the right dude, and they're like,
they're looking for the love connection, and they're on the party line.
Holy shit! You got an attorney and a broadcaster. Holy hell! Goodness. But it's almost like they have remorse about not doing enough.
Guilt, yeah.
And they shouldn't feel that way because they did everything they could possibly do. And I know people say money's not everything. Money's not everything. No, they spent a lot of money protecting children. A lot.
Yeah. And loving them.
Don't tell me money's not everything when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Don't tell me money's not everything when you don't have electricity. Don't tell me money's not everything when you don't have a way to get to the store and buy food.
Or get medical care.
Yeah, don't tell me that. So when people throw it at them saying, oh, they're just throwing their money around, I'm like, they're protecting children. Okay?
Which is more than I can say for most of the adults.
That's what I'm talking about.
Save these children's lives.
I think the biggest thing we ask is, what is it going to take to create the change? Because we've met with lawmakers. We've spoken with governor's offices. We've spoken with lawmakers in Washington. What is it going to take? There's already been a child that has been killed in a manner that none of us can even imagine. What will it take to create the change? And this should have been in place days after.
Jameson always ends most things when he talks about his sister, and he says, I love you, big sister. And we let him know that even though she can't tell him she loves him too.
Claire, what is that in your left?
How horrible is that?
Yeah. And they're having to deal with the fallout.
They are. They are. Now, a couple of months ago, News Center, CBS Boston announced that the transcripts will be released from the custody hearing regarding Adam and Harmony.
Yeah.
Now, we are yet to see it. I have a feeling when the transcripts come out, it's going to open up a whole new can of worms that is only going to benefit Crystal. What do you think, Susan?
Say it again, Brooke, because my mind just saw red. Say it again.
Okay, so the transcripts from when Adam got custody of Harmony are going to be made public. I don't know when.
Mm-hmm.
We're yet to
I heard
see
that part. I heard that part.
I think when they come out, I think it's going to open up a whole new can of worms that's probably only going to benefit Crystal.
Well, I'm not really sure it's going to help her, but they're not going to put out their names because they're going to be bullied and they want to protect all those people.
Right.
The ones that didn't protect Harmony.
We already know who the judge is.
That's where I saw red.
We already know who the judge is. So if Massachusetts, I don't know what they're going to do because it's a totally separate lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's totally separate. Separate state, separate everything, separate matters, everything. And like Rianne said, don't bother Crystal. She's going to Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's going to Paris, dudes. But I mean, this is what we're dealing with. This is who was granted custody of his own daughter.
Yeah.
And found in a Walmart parking lot in New Hampshire.
Your name, my man?
What? Adam.
This police body cam video obtained by News 9 Investigates was taken on December 31st, 2021. The day Manchester police announced a missing persons investigation for Harmony Montgomery.
On top of your head.
What's going on?
This was the first interaction between Adam Montgomery and Manchester police after officers located him sleeping in a car in Manchester's Wolf Park. In the video, officers asked Montgomery about his daughter's whereabouts.
We just need to find out where she is. That's all I'm concerned about. You're not in any trouble right now that I know of.
Okay, so they're being cool with him. You're not in any trouble right now that I know of. We just need to know where Harmony's at. And of course,
nothing to say.
And of course, Adam's attorneys wanted to have all this thrown out and everything, and they gave it a good old college try, but the judge wasn't allowing it. They're like, no, we're going to see this.
No warrants. Okay. So, where's your daughter so we can check on her to make sure that she's okay? Right now, I have nothing to say to you guys. But that's not what I'm just asking. Okay, I have nothing to say.
The interaction lasts about 45 minutes before Montgomery is sent on his way. Police track Montgomery down again later that day, serving him with a court order to produce Harmony.
Some detectives want to speak with you. He's being detained at this point.
5 days later, Montgomery...
I love that when he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth and going in to get a cheeseburger. And they're like, no, you're detained until you can tell us where Harmony's at. That's why I wonder about some of these states. I can't speak about other countries. When you can't produce your child, why are you in some kind of hot water? Mm-hmm. Now, I totally understand Michael Vaughn because he was abducted. But like, Terry Horman in the Kyron Horman case, why not detain her and say, listen, you are in charge of Kyron or Oakley Carlson's parents. Well, hold on. She got eaten by wolves?
Yeah.
and nobody knew about it? I mean, is that not a charge of its own? Candace Wells and Grandis. Well, hold on. You didn't happen to see her leave your house?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
He is arrested on charges including second-degree assault for allegedly abusing Harmony. During an interview with detectives, Montgomery is asked several times about his daughter.
This isn't going to go anywhere. Like, this isn't going to stop. So
No, I know it's not.
So either get on the bus now or get run over.
Well, I got nothing else to say.
I love that detective saying, this is not going to stop. We're not going anywhere. Adam, being the genius he is, goes, I know it's not. I know it's not. And he goes, so either get on the bus or get run over. Oh, he got run over because he's in jail until he's the age of Moses. And then
beep, beep, beep.
Yep. Beep, beep, beep. And then on top of it, he got a belly full of shit and a plunger.
And so Montgomery's lawyers argue that he repeatedly told police he did not want to speak with them, but detectives continued to question him, essentially violating his rights. Prosecutors have said that any statements Montgomery gave were done so voluntarily. A judge, by the way, has not decided.
Well, the judge did decide. Uh-oh, where did Susan go? Susan gone. Well, a judge did decide, and we know the outcome of that. Adam is in jail forever and a day. I would just say his natural life. Even though the sentencing looks funky when they're like, oh, it's for this many years, it's served one on top of the other. And then he'll get on the bus to hell. Can we please have a big round of applause for our friend Susan? And let's take a moment to remember Harmony, because she grabbed all of our hearts. Do you think Crystal has a big group of people together talking about Harmony? No. No. She's spending cash and passing ass. That's what she's doing. Well, I'm going to be passing some ass today because my husband's coming home tonight. And hopefully his back is not locked up because I really get tired of that reverse cowgirl shit. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We have a lot of shows next week. Let me tell you what. I'm back in the saddle. Back in the saddle after last week. We had one thing after another going on. Can't make a habit of that. But I just want to take a second to tell you guys how amazing you are that we are still talking about Harmony Montgomery. Isn't that case done over? No one cares. Old news. But you're still here to show respect, adoration, and love to this beautiful little girl. I mean, y'all prove it every day how amazing you are. You really do. So make sure you're reminded, you know what time we come on? 9 a.m. every day, unless my husband throws out his back. Love you guys to pieces. See you very, very soon.